Hi there, and welcome to Reflections. I almost said welcome to the beginnings of greatness. We were just talking about our show being the greatest of great shows. It supersedes and precedes the beginnings of greatness, which is another show. But show is called Reflections. And we are reflecting today on how great the show is and what great topics we bring you. Today we do have my co-host, Monica Livingston. We have the panel, Ruthie Wyburn and Kimberly Johnson. Today they're going to tackle some difficult, dicey issues, and we'll see how everybody handles them. They say they have something to spring on me, and they want a close-up of my face when they say it. And so I don't know. I'm almost afraid. Today we're going to start off with a couple of little DIY tips. And for those of you that do not know and you live on another planet, what DIY is do it yourself. So if you want to start a fire and you haven't gone to Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, and you're not a man, they all think they can start a good fire, but most of them can't.
Or you just need a little help starting the fire.
That's right. Or you just need a little help starting the fire. You can make something that sort of looks as disgusting as this right here. Now, this right here is just an egg carton with lint from your dryer. And if you don't have a lot of dryer lint, you can get from your belly button. So this came from Dr. Jones's belly button last week. This is just last week.
She gets to make one a week.
And so you melt a candle and you pour it all over it. You stuff the belly button lint into the egg holes, and then you melt a candle, which I have a little candle warmer thing that warms the candle and makes it liquid. And I just poured it all over this, and when you're ready to start your fire, you tear off, and I don't know how you do this, but you just like rip a piece of this off and throw it in the fire. And
well, you put it down there and light that. And
right.
then that starts the fire for you.
Oh, true, thank you. You put it in the
kindling
pit or with the wood or whatever, and then you take a match and light it, and it's supposed to really envelop everything and keep it going. That's not impressive to me. What's really impressive is if you can light a fire without a match. That's impressive.
I haven't done that yet.
This is not impressive.
Actually, I have, but I did it with a magnifying glass in the sun on a piece of wood. My dad would show me how, and I actually caught it on fire.
Yeah, that's fun. Have you ever done it to somebody's leg? Take a magnifying that burns. I've had it done to me. A magnifying glass in the sun. This Florida sun will burn you. It's horrible. But anywho, that's that. If you want to, go camping and you just take this with you and tear off a piece and get the fire going nice and hot, like what some people imagine hell would be like. But of course, that's just a myth. Hell is no more than a myth and is no less than a lie. Matthew Scrap Iron said that. Yep. Okay, Monica, you have a Pinterest, right? DIY thing that you were going to talk about?
Actually...
maybe this is last week and I just forgot. Maybe you already said it.
I did have one last week I talked about. I did notice, if anybody is interested out there, that apparently there's other good uses for vodka besides having a cocktail at the end of the day. It's mainly made up of ethyl alcohol, so it's really good for air freshener because that's the main component in air fresheners, and it doesn't have the other chemical components that are in there that cause problems with hormones and stuff, they say. But you can put it out, a jar of it or something, and absorb add a few drops to your favorite essential oils and help with odor-killing bacteria. You can also use it in flowers. You can use 1 part vodka and 5 parts water, and it helps to inhibit the growth of bacteria without the harmful effects to the plant. So it helps keep your flowers fresh longer.
Wow.
It also, of course, works just like the bottled alcohol that you buy in the store in the drugstore department instead of the liquor store department to clean windows and stuff and surfaces. You can make your own vanilla. Raw vanilla bean in some vodka.
Mm-hmm.
You soak it in there for a period of time, and then you would, of course, have to test the bean to see how, it's done. But you can make your own vanilla extract. Roses. You can make your own rose water by taking the alcohol and putting it in a pot with some water and the petals from roses, and steeping it in the water with the lid, and then it releases the oil into the water and make your own rose oil. So I just thought that was interesting. Fill in a plastic bag with it because it doesn't freeze. So make your own ice pack with vodka.
Very nice. Now, you did not get that off Pinterest?
No, actually, It was off Yahoo.
Okay, I thought you did. That's where I had the mess up, the disconnect.
And then, of course, it does talk about the cocktail here.
Well.
That wasn't an interesting use to me because I think most people...
That's the everyday use.
Not for me.
No, not for you. Not for me. But some people, they know that, how to mix it with whatever. But these are some other uses for vodka other than just drinking it. So.
And it's colorless and odorless, so it doesn't leave, stains and stuff like some chemical things do, or, so.
Wow. Now, I've smelled it before, and I don't know why they always say it's odorless. I heard that if you wanted to drink something before you go somewhere and you need to get your nerves settled or whatever, just take a sip of vodka, and then because nobody could smell it, or I don't understand that because I don't know. To me, it smells really strong, but I don't know. Ruthie, what's been your experience with vodka?
I have no idea. I just know you see it on the shelf.
Okay, so you never did any DIY uses with it or anything? It looks like to me isopropyl alcohol would be cheaper than buying it at a liquor store.
That's my
What do you
one
think?
thought, is that it would probably be cheaper to get the less than $1 bottle of the isopropyl alcohol than the
Right.
You couldn't use it
The
for
vodka.
cooking.
Yeah.
Huh?
You couldn't use it to make vanilla extract, though.
Yeah, that's true. So if you're going to make the vanilla extract, or probably have to use
And
the
for
other.
you homesteaders out there, vodka is actually easier to make than wine or beer. So
Really?
you'd have to Google it. It's been a while since I looked it
Yeah.
up, but and it does require a still. But with wine and stuff, you have to use really perfect grapes. With the vodka, you can use fruit that's been spoiled, fruit you couldn't eat,
Wow.
and because you need the sugar out of the fruit, not the flavor, and you get the sugar out. And
We'll talk after the show.
Yeah. Does it taste good? Does it taste good?
I don't care for the taste of vodka.
Yeah.
I've only had it once, and it was in orange juice, vodka and orange juice.
I mean, it's really
But
a
I
strong
didn't like
thing,
it.
isn't it? Yeah. It reminds me so much of isopropyl alcohol. Maybe that's the thing. I put it together. Not that I've never had it before. Obviously, I'm grown. I've had vodka drink before, and but it's like alcohol, like rubbing alcohol. Most of it does smell like it and taste like it to me, but. The old saying, after the first two, then you just don't. I don't know. Okay, now I want to hear what y'all have to say, and that's going to shock my face, and just shock me. I want to hear this.
Okay.
Who wants to do it?
I'm
She's
going
gonna
to sit here
have
and
to
tell you, and you
tell
probably
the
already
crowd.
heard about it, and you go, that's old. Kimberly."
I'll act like it's new.
Okay, we had been talking a few weeks ago, and I failed to bring it up then, about the parents of the child. They didn't take their child to have medical treatment because of their religious beliefs, and then the young man who would prefer to die than have a blood transfusion because of his religious beliefs, and didn't want anyone to think this is just a problem with Christianity. This is a religious problem. In New York, they had 2 cases of little boys contracting herpes from a controversial and ultra-Orthodox circumcision ritual. And apparently during the ceremony, after the child is circumcised, the priest will suck the blood off of the baby, rabbi. And the rabbi had herpes, it's herpes 1, first the type 1, that's not sexually transmitted herpes, but like a cold sore. Which in an adult isn't a big deal, but in a baby with immature immune system, and the rabbi puts his mouth on the baby and sucks the blood off. And 2 little boys contracted herpes.
Okay, gut reaction. What parent is going to sit there and allow a grown man to put their mouth on your child's genitals? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but you got mental problems. That's
That said in New York.
That just
yeah,
disturbed me so bad when I heard that.
2/3 of the circumcisions in this Hasidic sect of the Jewish community do this type of circumcision. And what was more appalling to me, beside the fact in the last few years there have been 13 cases, 2 have resulted in death,
Oh my
2
gosh.
have resulted in brain damage. This is serious for an infant. It's obviously not sterile, but the parents would not give the health department the rabbi's name so that they could stop him.
What?
Yeah.
They refused. They're protecting him.
Well, I mean, obviously somebody knows it, right? It's in the news. I mean, or is it? I mean, somebody has to know this man's name.
You would think, yeah, but they're not talking. They won't give him up.
Well, I mean, what about like Child Protective Services? I mean, they got involved in this other religious. We both of us must have had vodka for lunch.
I know vanilla lunch.
This religious, like the Jehovah's Witness, they stepped in and said the boy must have the transfusion or the other case. I
Right.
mean, well,
I don't know.
oh my goodness.
Some parents have said that they didn't know this was going to happen in the ceremony. I don't know how they missed the memo.
Yeah, I can't imagine being one of those parents not
But,
knowing and agreeing to let your child be circumcised and then suddenly seeing this. I mean, that would just...
But the one of the little boys that did develop the herpes virus, his parents absolutely refused to name the rabbi, and I mean, even to warn other parents, like, hey, if you're going to do this ceremony, don't use Rabbi this guy, because
Rabbi,
tell him to keep his
nasty
mouth shut.
mouth or whatever.
yeah, it's just appalling that.
Because I mean, I remember as a little girl getting sunburned, and then I would get a sore in my mouth,
Yeah.
or a cold sore or
Yeah.
whatever, and I was 5, 6 years old, and it's just something. It's part of the
Sure, yeah.
chickenpox virus,
Right.
and I'm not saying the
Exactly.
man, is a sexual deviant because he has that.
He
which-
could, an adult, you may not even have symptoms, you may not know, but you cannot do that and it be sterile. When you're dealing with an infant, you're dealing with someone whose immune system is immature.
Right.
And for you to put your mouth on them,
Some-
an open
a
wound,
right?
yeah, wherever the open wound is,
Right.
you are risking that child.
I mean, and how sick are you to want to put your mouth on, number one, any kind of that, and number two, an open wound yourself? I mean, and
Yeah, I don't know who
blood.
came up with this ritual, but
Yeah.
No,
it's a 5,000-year-old ritual.
yeah, that's the problem. When something's
Is-
5,000 years old, usually you ought to say red flag.
Yeah.
Really?
Probably not the best idea to keep doing
Red
that.
flag. 5,000 years ago, they didn't have any sense. I mean, they probably had to stop the bleeding, and they just figured, oh, how you just...
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just making this up, but my gosh, good gracious. I mean, I almost want to go to New York and hunt this thing down and get these parents to roll over on this man.
Really, really, yeah. And,
That's
I don't know,
horrible.
you read that book where the guy was saying there's healing properties in saliva. Maybe 5,000 years ago they thought they were helping, but
Sure.
we ought to know better now.
We
Yeah.
ought to know better. Ruthie, have you ever heard of such?
No, I haven't. I don't understand a parent putting her child second to something else.
Yes.
you.
I mean,
That's
that child is a gift to you, and you're to protect that child. I mean,
First of all,
Exactly.
they put the child behind their religious beliefs to
Right.
allow this to go on and not to think in their head that even though the man may not be thinking something sexual, there's still something wrong with subjecting your child who can't object to having a man's mouth on his private parts. Okay? That's the first
Right.
part that bothers me. The second part is then the child gets sick and you're not willing to stop this, put a stop to it. And you're, like she said, endangering others.
Right.
You're just being complacent. I mean, what if this man had AIDS and
Yeah.
he did something, had a sore in his mouth, and, would they still protect him, or is it, just because they don't think herpes is that serious, or, I mean, come on, it's.
Yeah. It's very.
I agree with
negligent.
Ruthie. They're putting their child second to this gentleman or to their religious beliefs, and it's a problem.
Yeah.
It is a problem. We
It's
need
a problem.
Something needs to have. Something needs to be said, stopped, called, or
Yeah.
We'll get Bob Graves on the issue. He
Yeah,
lives.
he's
he,
up that
he-
way.
he lives in New York, and I bet his wife Lisa. I bet she can get to the bottom of this. Lisa,
Lisa, we're putting you on notice. You better track this down and get back with us.
that's right. Take this for action. Go
I
find
bet
out.
she would too.
I bet she would. Go find out who this deviant is.
That is.
These
Anyways,
parents, yeah, BSC,
Bunch of nuts is what it
BSC.
sounds like.
BSC for sure. Okay. Oh my goodness, that I've never heard of such, and that was shocking beyond belief, and
Yeah.
I'm still shocked. I'll probably be more shocked like later on in about an hour. I'll just go berserk probably. I'm shocked. I'm still shocked.
Nice.
Just when you think, that's horrible, and it is, we have the new, well, we don't yet in the Western world, but I think it's Japan, they have now, the fad is eyeball licking. They lick each other's eyeballs as some sort of sign of affection. So, ladies, if I want to come up and lick your eyeballs, I'm just showing you a
Nope.
sign of, what? Really?
I love you, but keep your tongue to yourself.
You don't want me to lick your eyeball? Wow,
No.
I'm offended. But this is really going on in Japan, I believe it is.
Oh, gee.
And it's called, I don't want to say it because I'll get it mixed up with something else.
Do you need the name?
Yes.
Well, I can't enlarge it. I hope your glasses work. It's right there.
No, I just have to go like this. Okay, it's called eyeball licking or worming, and it's sweeping across the internet in videos and photos. But Japanese teenagers, it's a new trend, and it's called oculolinctus. And so that means eyeball licking, as opposed to other things that go on. Now, Japanese teenagers doing this, and the sad
Yeah, it
part.
started from a scene in a music video by a Japanese band
Okay.
that did it and had it as a scene in there. And the experts are all concerned because of the fact, for one, it's just kind of gross. But your mouth,
Germs
food
are
particles
in
and
your
germs,
mouth.
and
Yes.
what it can do to the eyeball. It can cause blindness and.
All kind of infections and staph infections, and just think about the thing we just talked about. Your mouth is nasty, and you're going to put that. And they say the eyeball is one of the most sterile things. It's very sterile, and you're going to put something nasty into your
Just
eyeball.
think about when your hands and you have your hands and you wash your hands frequently, but still the salt content in your skin. From your sweat and just everything else, dust, and you touch your eye, and then suddenly you come down with pink eye and other things, or just they burn and they itch, and the transfer of, that's just gross.
I mean, teenagers. Ruthie,
They'll try anything, I think.
were there some fads in your day, like eyeball licking or anything?
I wouldn't let anyone touch my eyeball with anything, except maybe a doctor if it needed to be done, because when I was working, a little teeny tiny particle of dust you couldn't even see went into my eye, and I ended up going to the doctor and wearing a patch for a week while it healed, because it scratched the
Oh, my
eyeball,
goodness.
the outside of the eyeball, and it caused some scar tissue, and 18 months later I had to go and have that scar tissue scraped off of my eyeball. So
Ooh.
nobody's going to put their tongue on my
And see,
eyeball.
that's what it says here is that the germs,
I don't care how
She
effective
went like
they
this.
are to me.
Yeah, they're saying that the germs could cause scarring on the cornea, and
Oh
it could
my
cause
gosh.
permanent perforation or a hole to develop, and it could cause, an ulcer to the eyeball. Less serious is just the pink eye conjunctivitis. That's just
Kimberly, have you
Dumb,
ever participated in
nasty.
eyeball licking?
No, and I don't plan to. That is nasty.
here, Joey. No,
Oh
I'm just
my
kidding.
gosh.
Yeah.
it's gross.
The sad thing is, if it wasn't nasty or could harm your eyeball, I'd probably try it. I'll be honest with you, because I don't know what's the big deal. Kathy, you're in the audience today. I bet you'd try it too. But if it wasn't nasty, I would who knows? I would give it a whirl. But I want people to give us a eyeball licking. Make it stop or bring it on. So if you want eyeball licking to continue and to come over in this
Text
country.
Rhonda if you're interested.
No. But my point was going to be, until I got sidetracked about wanting to do eyeball licking if it wasn't nasty, is teenagers, they can come up with some pretty weird things like fads. That's where a lot of fads come from. I don't know if the adult comes up with it first and teenagers are just immature enough to carry it out, or do the teenagers really come up with these fads? All through history, I would think teenagers have been responsible for some sort of fad. And I know when you were in 17 or 18, or even before that, what was a fad? I mean,
I remember some girls in middle school, high school time would take and like on their leg or their ankle, they would use like a bobby pin or a safety pin, and they would like, if they were dating somebody, they would like take and carve that person's like initials, just like scrape their leg to where it bled, and then they would like pick the sore. And I didn't do that. And then I've seen, and it started a lot. Or I remember seeing it a lot when I was a teenager, and I don't know where it originated from, but where they burnt their arm. I've seen it on several people's arms, where they would almost like they branded an initial, but it was all bubbled and kind of weird looking. I don't know exactly how they did it, but
yeah, I remember a little bit. Let's see, I was probably 16 or 17, and people would take erasers and just rub their skin raw and make designs, and it would burn and just come up with that. And just a pink eraser, how you get it in school, and you would see it all over their body, and that's horrible. What about you, Ruthie? When you were a teenager, or younger, any kind of fads people would do? Like, I know when our boys were younger, overalls were in style at some point, and then wearing one shoulder down, you would just hook one overall, shoulder strap, and this one would be just drooping. I don't know. That was a fad. Those little, where you have your hair in a little rat tail. That used to be a
remember
fad.
the rat tails.
Yeah,
I didn't have one either. But
No. Any fads that you can remember?
Well, that's too many years ago. I can't remember any fads when
I
I
thought
was
she was
little.
just going to prove how stupid the generations have got as we've gotten
Yeah,
on.
no, we
But I
didn't do
think we
that.
could prove that with
Back in the
eyeball
40s and 50s, we weren't quite as creative as the
Oh, is
teenagers.
that how we're
are
gonna
now.
spin
That-
it?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Okay.
But I know my parents, they would say that they used to like roll their jeans legs up, cuff them high, and they used to have do something with the hair, grease it up, and they wanted a ducktail or something, kind of. That's sort of a fad, What about you, Kimberly?
I was a valley girl. Does that count?
I
Mini
had
skirts
the-
and ear cuffs and
Yeah, that is.
I had the
The
fad
whole
where you took the
speech.
bottle and you sprayed the hair with hairspray, and then you put the bottle there and you'd hold it there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it came out, you looked like you had wings, like it stick out on the side, wings, and then straight up in the
Yeah.
clover. Yeah.
Yeah.
80s hair.
80s hair, yeah, she had it bad. Or good. Her hair always looked good, I would say. But, I mean, she had it bad, but it was good. It looked. But, so you did the Valley Girl thing.
the
Oh,
whole
wow.
valley speech and mini
Yeah.
skirts and the whole, blue eyeshadow out to here.
Wow. No,
Speaking Valley Girl for us.
No, that's okay.
Please.
It's been too long.
been too
sorry.
long? Okay.
Sorry.
Oh.
Why?
Maybe Halloween she can dress like a Valley Girl.
No, I don't wear mini skirts anymore.
Well, you
sorry.
don't, you just put some leg warmers
My
I know
on.
you
skirt
have one in
days
the
are
closet
over.
somewhere. Just kidding.
Oh,
I
goodness.
heard leg warmers are coming back though. You can make them out of sweater sleeves.
Oh,
I
that's
saw
a
that
good
on
idea.
Pinterest. You could take a sweater sleeve and, cut it off and stitch up the top and make leg warmers. Are y'all ready? That can be our next ladies'
Stitch at the
craft.
top.
Yeah, like where you
You put
cut,
elastic or
the
something?
sleeve. You could put like elastic or something
Elastic
in
at
to
the
keep it from
shoulder to keep it
unraveling.
up your
Okay.
ankle.
And then you,
Okay.
you have your leg warmers.
Okay, I thought you were saying
We
stitch
can do
it.
that for our next ladies'
Not closed,
craft.
no.
Yeah, I don't think Ruthie would wear a pair of leg warmers. Do you know what we're talking about? No, okay.
We gotta get tights to go.
It was
Maybe
a
do
fad.
job.
It was a fad too. Yeah, physical. Let's get physical. It's like sweaters for your legs. Sweaters for your legs. Just from like the calf part down. And then you scrunch them low or high, however you liked them. And
Wild colors.
What's wrong with wearing socks?
Well, you wore those too.
I know. I
mean-
mean, I never did that.
Socks cover your feet and part of your legs. You don't, so you let your feet get cold while you try to keep your leg warm? That doesn't make
I think
any
you
sense.
wear socks too.
It's
or-
really weird.
Well, anyway.
Yeah, it was a fad. It was.
Yeah,
it was-
I do
And-
remember seeing those, but I didn't.
What was so funny, I
Understand
think
them.
about it now, is that Olivia Newton-John video where she has the leg warmers on. Who wants their legs warm while you're exercising? I mean, have you really ever exercised? 'Cause-
But you have to admit, she looked good with
Yeah, she did.
whatever she had on. And you could get pretty chilly in what she was wearing to exercise. I mean, I saw the movie. She looked good. But she did have the leg warmers on. And the headband and whatever. She looked good. Okay, we talked about eyeball licking, and if y'all can believe this, a man was sentenced to 3 years in prison for going to a restaurant, ordering lobster, steak, appetizers,
Crab pincher.
yeah, all kind of dessert, and then when they came with the bill, he said, "I don't have any money to pay. I can't pay."
But he wasn't just locked up for that,
True.
because he had been released from jail
The day before.
the day before for the same thing. He's a repeat offender multiple times. They first charged him with burglary, then they reduced it down to theft. But he apparently keeps doing this.
I think he had 70 arrests.
But see,
I
but now he
think.
doesn't have to pay because he's in there, and the state's going to be feeding him every.
Yeah,
may
so-
not be same kind of food
Probably
he
not
likes because it's not
lobster.
lobster and
Probably
shrimp.
not,
And,
yeah.
but
But
he
it
gets
gets-
free meals.
Yes, he does. And so, is he really learning a lesson? But I thought at first 3 years, that's a long time.
Yeah, that was my first thing for not paying for a meal 3 years.
Right.
But then I read on and I was like, okay, well, this dude's like, goes and has these high class meals, goes to jail, gets back out, and let's go again. Next time you might invite a friend.
I mean-
hey, I'm taking you out to dinner.
I mean,
Well,
at
it's
first,
crazy.
you would think, Ruthie, 3 years, that's a lot of time
Yeah.
to stiff somebody
For one offense, yes.
for one offense. But he had just gotten out of
Repeat
jail.
offender, yeah, that's just crazy.
It is. I mean, to me, he doesn't really need prison. I think he needs
Counseling.
Have to wash the
counseling.
dishes,
Yes,
counseling.
or you have to work at a restaurant and for 3 years and something. I mean, just and see how they have to make a living and how they have to work so hard to serve you, and then you're not going to pay them. You're also stiffing the server. I mean, that's horrible.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't think prison's the right spot for him. I do think, like Kimberly said, counseling or some sort of behavior modification or something.
Teacher need cheaper. $1 menu and not pay.
But I tell you what, if you're going to do something like
I'm cutting
that,
up today. I need to go home.
you might as well get the lobster. You might as well get if you're going to pull
Exactly.
that off. So
Yeah, but he only rang up a tab of $70. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess for one person that's a lot if you're
That's-
eating that kind of
yeah.
meal.
I
But
don't know.
it seemed like that was kind of low for the type of food he was eating.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, maybe it's because here in the South you can go out for
Seafood, yeah.
seafood and it's probably $40 or $50
Yeah.
just for the main dish.
Yeah, they're trying to make the money off the tourists,
Yeah.
so we have to pay tourist prices. It's not fair. But we do want y'all to come down south here and get some seafood. It's really good
Yeah, my uncle's eating lobsters today. I saw on Facebook. I hope he's enjoying them.
for Father's Day. Did anybody see the picture of the Marine and the bride, or the bride and groom? The groom is a Marine, and they were praying before their wedding. It was a beautiful picture, and they were praying, that they, what you would normally want in your marriage, and they were praying that all these things would be accomplished. And they didn't see each other, but it showed a picture of them. The Marine was on one side of the corner of a wall, and the bride was on the other side, and they were holding hands like this, and you could see the picture of both of them, and it was just beautiful. I thought it was
really
gorgeous.
sweet.
Yeah, it was really sweet. I wish we had the picture, but I invite everybody to look it up. It's gone viral, actually, the photo. It's just, if you want to look it up, just type in Marine and bride praying before their wedding. it was really inspiring to me. And I think, I don't care whatever persuasion you are, I would think it would be inspiring to you. It should be, personally, my opinion. But I hope it is, because if you take it as these two people really wanting something, them both wanting the same thing.
Right, coming together.
Right,
on the
coming
same
together.
Mind,
Yeah,
on the same page with what they want for their life, and
exactly. And
whether they're praying or they're just sitting there talking with each other, I think, it could be looked at as a good thing that two people that are going to join their lives together are communing with each other about about what they want for their lives. And, us that believe in God, they're communing with their Creator,
right.
So,
Yeah.
thumbs up.
Yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up. Momo does too. Okay. Okay. Anybody else have anything utterly disgusting or can top eyeball licking or horrible circumcision story?
I don't know about that.
I think we've tapped out on the gross today. We've also hit the beautiful, which was to me the Marine and his bride praying together. And I do want to say that we have some good news in our family that our son John and his wife are expecting.
Oh.
Yeah, in about I think she's 4 weeks along. So we're going to be grandparents again, and we are excited. They're far away in Kansas, which is sad. I don't know how Ruthie does it with it's sad, isn't it? But Ruthie's getting ready to go on vacay to see her daughters and
Grandkids and
grandkids
great-grandkids.
and great
Nice.
grandkids. So
Some of them.
some of them, not all of them. So she's
No,
going
'cause
to,
one set's in Maryland, so.
yeah. So you're going to the big state of Idaho. What's the temperature?
Northwest Idaho.
Northwest Idaho.
In the Panhandle.
Okay, so that borders on the great state of
Washington
Washington.
and Canada.
and Canada. Wow, wow. And is it Coeur d'Alene?
Coeur d'Alene.
Coeur d'Alene. So
Really
yeah.
Rathdrum, which is used to be a way station for the stagecoach it went through, but it's now just a town.
It's fascinating to know or even think about the history of the United States. We have a lot of horrible, sad history. But then we have a good story about people that had to make it out there in Idaho and these Midwestern states and northwestern states. And they had to be some tough mammy jammies, I'm here to tell you, because just to get out there from wherever they migrated from, that was a feat all of its own. And then to survive, and then in some places to even have food crops in the soil in some of those places, it was almost impossible to dig. And so I applaud, our people for really being hardy and strong-willed.
Yeah, and in the Panhandle, we don't have the Idaho potatoes. That's not the main thing. It was mining and lumber. That's what Coeur d'Alene and Rathdrum were built on. So,
Yeah.
and Harrison, Idaho. So
That's neat. That really is. Kimberly, where you hail from, what is your home base known for?
Texas and oil and cattle.
Yeah,
The part
oil.
of Texas that I come from, yeah. I
Yeah.
was born in eastern central Texas in Marshall.
Okay, yeah. And Monica, well, go ahead and say it.
Alabama Crimson Tide. Sorry, I had to go there. What else are they known for? Strawberries? And they have strawberries in Alabama.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Sweet tea, it's the South.
Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely. She was born in the deep South.
Montgomery, Alabama.
Wow. I come from Virginia, and there, that's West Virginia.
Oh, sorry. I keep messing up there.
not
Get
that
the
there's anything
daggers.
wrong with
Did
people
y'all
from
see
West
that?
Virginia. No, West Virginia people are awesome, awesome. But when you're from Virginia, you don't like to be mixed up. You know, you want to say Virginia. You don't want to say West Virginia.
I say coal miners up here, and I got daggers. Sorry.
That's all right. Well, where I come from has one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. At least it was a long time ago, which is Natural Bridge, Virginia. And George Washington actually carved his initials, allegedly, on the bridge itself. And it's a natural bridge. It's beautiful there. Beautiful, beautiful. So I guess where I come from, they are known for the brilliant, genius people that were born there. So.
We
I
also had
agree.
a new addition to our family this
Yes.
week. My niece, oldest niece, had a little baby boy,
Oh,
Cooper. And so welcome to the world, Cooper.
Yes.
And great Aunt Funky Monkey, as I'm called, loves you.
Can you believe she's a great aunt?
Nice.
Well, hey, that's all right. My sister's the grandma
There you go.
That's true. And she's younger.
by a few years. She likes to make it seem like it's decades, but it's not. Just 3.5 years.
We're going to come up with, Meredith and John want to not know the gender of their child, but they want to come here hopefully in November sometime and us have a party or get together and for us to reveal the gender to them
Oh,
in a
cool.
way. So it's going to be fun.
So we'll know, but they
yeah.
don't know. And we'll know for sure, or we'll be guessing.
No, we'll know. Like she'll have an envelope or she'll send it to me or
Okay.
somehow and she'll go to the doctor and
Give
find
the doctor
out.
the envelope, say, please mail
Right.
results here.
If Meredith
cool.
if Meredith is listening, I think she should bring it with her because I don't know if Rhonda could hold the envelope without opening it or not.
Well, but that's okay if we know ahead of time. She just
No.
can't know.
Oh,
That's
no.
true. It's weird, Ruthie. Yeah, they don't want to know.
Oh, but
they
it's
want
okay if
us
we
to know.
we do.
Because we're going to reveal the gender to them at the
Oh, I
party.
see. Okay.
In a kind of a weird way, like it's really a fad, I would say. It's called gender reveal parties, and
Okay.
they like, for instance, you might have a huge box of like all blue helium balloons, and when the bride and groom, when the parents are opening it up and they open the box, then out comes all these blue,
We'll paint
helium
John
balloons.
Michael blue, and we'll put him in the box.
and he just
And then he'll
Which would be really great if it's a girl, because then we can paint John Michael pink.
pink.
oh, that would be cool.
Girl. Sorry.
Yeah, but Dad already has an idea, and then I've got trying to make some ideas, and I thought it'd be cool, like to give them 2 cans of silly string, like blue or pink, and then like, okay, shoot each other, and then out comes blue silly string. I don't know. We're just thinking of certain ways, and
Yeah.
of course,
We'll have to brainstorm, put all these ideas in,
yeah. But
come up with a grand.
Dad has this huge, like, complicated technological thing, and like a artist is gonna be painting something, then it'll start looking like a boy, and then they'll say, "Oh, it's a boy," and then next thing you know, he'll just change it up to look like a girl, a bow, and then he'll change that to have a something, and then he'll keep going back and forth, and then at the end will be the
Boy
and then it'll be the reveal of the gender. But that's his idea. So, but you know how that. So that's just too complicated and whatever. Let's just squirt some silly string at them.
Should be fun.
That'd be fun.
There's
That'd be
also
fun.
a trend with taking, around cupcakes to your family or a cake or whatever, and then when they cut into it or bite into it, that's
Oh,
when
it's
they,
pink or
and that's
blue.
what Kaylee
That's
did
cool.
with us.
Oh,
She
really?
brought around cupcakes, and like my mom was like, "Tell me what it is," and she's like, "You gotta eat the cupcake." So my mom pulled the cupcake apart and then threw it in there.
Oh,
So,
yeah, yeah,
they got different fads and trends and stuff doing that, and a lot
Yeah.
of them are really cute.
they are cute, and that's one way some people do it. But
Pink.
I want to do something totally different. Just
John Michael
really,
box.
John Michael.
In a box.
Half naked in a box or
The diaper.
or with a diaper. Oh, that'd be cute. Or son John Michael with a diaper.
Pacifier in a diaper. And a rabbit. Sorry.
That might scar
I'm getting
us.
carried away.
Yeah, that would be funny.
He's going to shoot me.
Oh, he will. But talking about trends and traditions and things like that, and this 5,000-year-old tradition about the rabbi, sucking the blood off the little baby's circumcision. wound. That's the problem we face with the tradition of teaching hell, the tradition of saying, human sacrifice, Jesus on the cross. If something's that old, people will buy into it. If it's been done for, 6,000 years, they say, well, for 6,000 years, nobody.
It's got to be right.
It's got to be right. But
No one's questioned it for this long.
yeah, but they really have.
It's just
Right.
been shoved,
That's true.
that
is very true.
stifled.
Yeah, but at the same time, that couple that was praying before their wedding were honoring the tradition of not seeing the bride. So, not just because it's a tradition doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Right. Just because it's
Yeah.
tradition doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's when your logic doesn't
Yeah, when
outweigh
your tradition outweighs the safety of your child. That's
right
That's true. And when the tradition,
the well-being of your child,
right, and that's
mentally, physically, emotionally.
Dr. Jones has been wearing a Teaching Hell is Child Abuse shirt all weekend, and we've been to a couple places, and the looks that he has gotten. Nobody has said anything this time, but we used to wear them quite a bit to Walmart, and we've actually had people stop and tell us a thing or two, and which is no biggie for us. We don't mind engaging in a conversation. That's why you wear a shirt sometimes like that. But like the teaching hell is, we believe, is child abuse. Teaching something scary, and not to mention they're teaching this to say you need to behave or do this and that for this reason, and it's just not true. It's scarring. It's proven psychologically scarring to children and adults. And we talk to people almost weekly that have been scarred by hell teaching. And so, the like the bride and groom not seeing each other before they get married, that is a tradition. And as long as they don't believe, well, we will actually have bad luck if we see
Right.
each other,
Right.
that would be
Suddenly
bad.
call off a wedding, because they will suddenly walk around the corner and see each other.
Right.
And,
Exactly. That would be horrible. But if
Right.
you think this is just a cool tradition, I'm just going to go with it. And, I can't think of many traditions that are so adorable and cute that won't harm you. Most traditions, aren't going to scar you for life, but a lot of them possibly could. And if you really, really put all you've got into it, like the belief in hell and the belief that Jesus is a human sacrifice and he had to die and shed blood just to have a relationship with you, then that's mentally scarring.
and believing that every word in a book is, 100% the Word of God. I mean, thinking back, the things that I taught children, not my children, thankfully, they were pretty young, and have benefited from the fact that we've come to our senses and walking away.
Right.
But I remember sitting there and talking about the flood, and you remember this. You were in the room with me that day.
Yeah.
And we'd had a lot of rain that summer. We were talking about the flood, and we were talking about how it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. And why this didn't make me think then was because I was stuck in that religious mindset. But we had a little kid said, "Is that what's happening now?" We were scaring these kids because here they'd had rain for days and days and days and days, and every single day in Florida it was raining over this summer, and here we are talking to them about a flood story. I mean, really?
Yeah, and then we were going to comfort them by saying, hey, God's not going to do it with water next time. It'll be
rainbow.
fire.
He's not going to promise a flooding. No more flood. Just watch out for flames.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why that. I don't know. I'm just thankful
Yeah.
that's not what we're teaching the kids now.
And then, like the guests that we've had up here, and they're sincere because they're passionate for God, that they would do anything that God asked them to do, and they think that they can discern the voice of God. But I'm sure that these people that have hacked their children up or drowned them in bathtubs and everything else, or shot them in the head at a firing range because they truly thought they were hearing the voice of God.
Yeah.
There's something that we have to rethink, and I'm glad that we have, and I don't want to condemn anybody that still believes a lot of this, but I want to help them.
Right.
I want them to be able to walk away from just putting so much, well, just stuff in their head that they can't rationalize things out and make some decent decisions.
Right.
You know.
I think next week, because the show that we tried to do on these women killing their children in the name of God, it never got off the ground. But we did it.
Audio difficulties.
Yeah, we had audio difficulties. So I believe next week we'll do that. We'll revisit and do a show on women who have killed their children in the name of God, the name of religion, and so we'll do that next week. So we hope you stay tuned. And that is all for today, and we will just see you next week, hopefully, on Reflections. Happy Father's Day to everybody. That's a father. Pasha. Pasha. Okay.